This one, on the other hand, makes me feel like I'm in a blue light district. One thing that this is mimicking is a corset, which is like really like scandalous, because they used to use corsets in the early days, like in the Titanic. You might have seen that one scene where Rose was getting her guts squeezed, and that's what the corsets did. I was told this by a transgender psychologist in college, where he was explaining the corset issue, and what it actually did is kind of like what rats, how they like are able to go through little tiny holes, and they can do this because their body is like elastic, and they can suck in their ribs to become more like a pole, and they don't break. And so this is sort of what the corset is supposed to be mimicking, where like they tie the strings really tight, but if you keep doing that, your body adjusts, and then it turns where like your body gets stuck into where it'll be really skinny around like the hips because your rib cage has been squeezed in so much. And this had issues where people who wore corsets too tight had the area above the hips squished so hard that their guts like weren't able to perform. Oh great, I just fixed my hairpiece, and I actually added in an extension. This is where my headband got put in over my headband. I'm new to the hair extension game, where it's like I'll never wear a wig. I don't really want to put fake hair inside of my hair. I'll probably hook on some tiny ropes because that seems cool. And my headband, and then my headband. What's the difference between the bandana? Okay, yeah, the bandana is not a headband because it's cloth. Okay, so I just added in my headband plastic to my bandana cloth. And then this is a big difference because it's kind of like labeling a birch wood and a birch tree. They're very similar because the tree is wood. However, when you're speaking on birch wood, it's more of like an industrial lingo where you're implementing manufacture. And this is something that blue collar people would pick up on, that the scientists and science community might not be knowing of. And this is where it has to actually be more thoughtful of like what hands-on means, because it's usually frowned upon in like museums and things that seem eloquent. But blue collar people are like, that's how they learn. And so when I was mentioning birch a lot, it's because I grew up on Birch Street, 231 Birch Street, Shelburne, Vermont. And says Birchwood. And the names of things are important because a lot of them stem from Native American heritage. And I only know that because stuff like this resonates when I read it and see it. It is, if you look into it, having to be a basis of the Native American pretense, which actually this entire land is, and you can make that argument, but most people don't even care about that. And this is what I was addressing earlier with how like if you don't have any innards, then you can't be alive. Black Lives Matter, that's because I only have one friend and he's black, and I think he's the only person I'd choose to have a friend because he's black. Like albino people seem transparent, and then it just turns more to like that. And I've like woken up in the middle of the night and thought things, and like that, like when things get weathered and like all the juices like leave out of them and they turn like more transparent, even like with humans. Have you ever thought that life isn't fair, and for some reason people like to do stuff that just seems weird. Whether it be hanging hooks in your back and being held up on strings, or getting tangled in strings and being held up on those. I've seen people get ice cubes put on their stomach and crushed with sledgehammers while laying on a bed of nails. You might have seen people walking on fire coals or Legos, back and forth barefoot for what they call it is a release. I, on the other hand, do not get off on videotaping myself in public. However, I use brainstorming where my thoughts could be equal to the physical things that people do. However, it is all because we need answers and no one but Fauci has them. So I would like to share with you this footage that has to do with pain and instability. Please enjoy. And a lot of the descriptions is hard to comprehend because I believe that that's what a swamp is. The devil's greatest trick was having him pretend that you think he isn't real. And so with the whole battery thing, it just comes down to like electric diodes and how willing you are to let your innards like be controlled. And that can be through multiple different ways. More so if like you get hit with poison by a spider or a rattlesnake, the body will start to like rot and like I think your tissues being broken down with like neurotoxin. And I think that this is like little pieces of like diodes. There's an African lady who told me she saw an angel in Africa and everyone was clapping and it was on video, and she showed me the footage of it, and it was this giant light ball, like a star, but there was stuff moving around it. And I said, Jacent, that is not an angel, that is a UFO. I'm in these streets asking you to come see me. If you got an issue, you know we gonna get it free of charge, no commission. Hey, I think I'm a city slicker when I'm hitting us downtown. You might be a bitch if you're looking sideways with an ugly frown. All positivity accounts for action in my reality. Like I said, if you think differently, I'd love to put you on the internet just so you can see me. Why it's so hard to talk about, and then when you do it just seems kind of foolish, is that when it's so discreet that you wouldn't even believe it. So technically, like, the most discreet thing you can do is have it be invisible, and along with wind blowing really hard and then the electric current in the air, those are both